So let's not forget how the Green New Deal became the Green New Deal. This is an article by Ade Chavez that was written a few days ago. The signature effort that has become attached to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the Green New Deal. Now, that was originally intended to go by a different name, she told The Intercept in a podcast. But as social media and news outlets covering the platform began coalescing around the term, this had been a term that was long used by the Green Party. Why? Well, because Jill Stein began campaigning on it in 2012. Early use of the terms traces back oddly to Thomas Friedman, who wrote a New York Times column in 2007 about the concept and later expanded the idea in the book. The following year, Barack Obama made a Green New Deal, or green jobs, part of his presidential platform. I remember that. I remember the green jobs. What I also remember was the all of the above approach on energy. And he really focused on the drilling part and the oil part, not so much on the green part. That's what ended up happening. So when you hear all of the above on energy, don't be fooled again. Do not be fooled again. And I was fooled. I voted for Obama twice. I voted for him twice. He wasn't my guy in the '08 primary. Kucinich was. Because Kucinich supported single-payer health care, and to my knowledge, Obama did not. So I was a Kucinich guy. But when Obama won, I thought he was going to take us in a better direction. And, I mean, compared to Bush, he did. He's better than Bush. But did he take us where we needed to be? Not even close. Did he take us where we could have gotten to? No, not even close. He didn't. I mean, read the book, Listen Liberal. There's so much more he could have done that he didn't do. That he just didn't want to do. Why? Because Obama's a moderate Republican. Who said that about him? Barack Obama. Barack Obama said that about Barack Obama. You know, you get these people that they put Obama on a shrine, that he's this untouchable deity to them. And then, you know, Obama was just a moderate Republican. They look at you like you're an alien, like you just committed a cardinal sin. And they're like, how dare you say that? Well, because Obama said it. Obama said it about himself. Go find that video. Anywho, let's get back to the Green New Deal. All right, so Ocasio-Cortez dropped by to cheer on the young activists, and in the ensuing weeks, this is referencing when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and a bunch of activists in Sunrise showed up at Nancy Pelosi's office. Green New Deal was a working title, and we almost had the understanding that it was going to be something else, but it kept leaking and catching. So that's where the Green New Deal comes from. It can be traced back to the Green Party. It was a Green Party idea originally, and then also has some traces with Thomas Friedman, and now it was adopted by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Look, you know, it's not... The good thing is that it's in the mainstream narrative now. That's a good thing. As far as where it originated from, you know, that's all fine and good. That's cool. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I don't think she's trying to take credit like she invented it. I don't think she's doing that at all. It's good that it takes someone like her to bring it into the spotlight. Why I bring this article up, and what's interesting here, is that if we had a system that was a more representative democracy, it wouldn't take a progressive infiltrating the Democratic Party to really get it in the spotlight. If we had a system where we didn't have this two-party strangle, which is really just one party, it's just the money party, these ideas, which are essential ideas and are essential for our survival on the frickin' planet, would not have to be introduced by a progressive that had to infiltrate the Democratic Party. So that's just an interesting thing to take note of. And, you know, it's representative of the toxicity of our system. And I'm not trying to only focus on the negative, because the positive here is that it's in the public spotlight. It's being talked about. It's being considered. Where is it now? Well, that brings us to our next story. Green New Deal, Ocasio-Cortez unveils bold plan to fight climate change. Blueprint for a carbon-neutral economy has been embraced by prominent Democrats and evokes FDR's famous legacy. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is releasing a broad outline of a vision for the Green New Deal, a plan to battle economic and racial injustice while also fighting climate change. The new Congresswoman's blueprint, co-introduced by Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey, aims to develop a carbon-neutral economy in 10 years, which will require huge strides in reducing the U.S.'s reliance on oil, gas, and coal. It does not set a date for ending the use of fossil fuels. Specifically, the resolution says it is the duty of the federal government to craft a Green New Deal to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions. That includes getting all power from clean, renewable, and zero-emission energy sources. The document also endorses universal health care, a jobs guarantee, and free higher education, a huge shift in messaging from nearly a decade ago, when Democrats were advocating for a cap-and-trade system to limit greenhouse gases by allotting industry permits for pollution. 60 members of the House and 9 senators are co-sponsoring the resolution, including several presidential candidates, according to a fact sheet from congressional aides that did not include a list of supporters. However, any legislation would be dead on arrival with Republicans in control of the Senate and the White House. That is true. This is great. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi said a select committee on climate change, which she has announced the members of, will not be tasked with writing a specific bill and called the Green New Deal a, quote, suggestion. Here's what she said to Politico. Get this. It will be one of several or maybe many suggestions that we receive, Pelosi said in an interview with Politico. The Green Dream, or whatever they call it. Nobody knows what it is, but they're for it, right? That's great. That's great. So many people are applauding Nancy Pelosi for the way she clapped her hands at Donald Trump. Like, oh, she stood up to him. She clapped like this. You know what matters a little bit more to me than that she mocked Donald Trump? And Donald Trump is despicable. What matters more to me is that she's also mocking her colleagues who want to extend our stay on this fucking planet, who actually want to do something about climate change. The Green Dream, or whatever they call it, they're for it, right? Where's my mimosa? How out of touch can you be? This is about the planet, Nancy. We want to stay on the planet for as long as we can. Climate change is inevitable, but we can do a little bit. We can do a little bit to not make it so drastic so we can stay here longer and live our fucking lives. We can do something. But if we do nothing, we're fucked. We don't want to be fucked, Nancy. Maybe you don't give a shit because you're a 100 millionaire. Maybe you don't care. The Green Dream, she doesn't even know what it's called. She doesn't know what it's called. She's the speaker. She's the leader of the party. She does not know what one of the most important pieces of legislation of all of our lifetimes is called. That's a leader. This is why I don't understand how people take electoral politics serious. I mean, you have to, because this is the disgusting system we're stuck with. But why pretend it's anything other than a disgusting, corrupt system? Why give credence? Look at the way she clapped her hands. She clapped her hands. It was mock. I don't even know if it was, by the way. I mean, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I don't really give a shit. That State of the Union was a disaster. It was a war rally. Again. It was another war rally. The State of the Union was a war rally. Who would have thought the New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl wouldn't be the most predictable thing to happen this week? Like, oh, you know what's even more predictable? State of the Union was a war rally. The State of the Union is a war rally more often than the Patriots win the frickin' Super Bowl. Which, I didn't really watch that game, by the way. We talked about the Super Bowl briefly. I don't have much to say. I didn't really watch it. I did tune in for the halftime show, which I regretted. And so, all right, let's go into this article because I want to look more into the policy here. But that's good that the leader of the opposition party doesn't know what the Green New Deal is. The only party that has a chance of making the Green New Deal a reality, their leader doesn't give a shit about it, doesn't even know what it's called. That's great. That's great. That gives me blue no matter who, right? That's what's going to get us out of this mess, right? Unbelievable. Discussions on what shape the plan would take also involve major environment, justice, and labor organizations, as well as the Youth Sunrise Movement. Backers hope the 6-page resolution will push Democrats vying for the White House in 2020, not just to sign to the general idea, but to lay out specific legislative goals. Some environmental groups, including Friends of the Earth and Greenpeace, said they were encouraged by the movement on climate change, but that the resolution does not do enough to confront fossil fuels. The Sierra Club, however, welcomed the document. Ocasio-Cortez, Dem socialist from New York, who has been in Congress for just over a month, centered her campaign on climate change and the Green New Deal. Good. but the resolution itself focuses on the tenets of a progressive policy platform as much as it does on climate change. It is both a framework for a cleaner energy future and a plan for a large-scale mobilization that would rival in scale and scope the progressive New Deal policies ushered in under President Franklin Delano Roosevelt in response to the Great Depression. All right. So here are the people who say they're for it. Before the text was released, several presidential candidates had already embraced the notion of a Green New Deal, including Senators Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, and Kirsten Gillibrand. The former San Antonio mayor, Julian Castro, committed to the plan during his campaign announcement. The Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, who is the co-chair of the House Progressive Caucus and a sponsor of the legislation, said the resolution defined the scale and scope of what must be done to combat climate change. We really need an urgent and comprehensive approach, she said. All right. So that's where we're at as far as the Green New Deal goes. There is some specific legislation out there. It looks like it's definitely a strong start. We do have to do something about fossil fuels. We have to get off of fossil fuels for our cars. Apparently, it doesn't tread into that territory. No pun intended, by the way. And why doesn't it? I don't know specifically. I mean, we're still waiting for a lot of the specifics on this. We just kind of get a skeletal outline. So why the details land where they land, I don't really have the answers to that yet. I don't think any of us do. But at least it's starting, because we got to do something. We got 12 years. We got to do something. So I hope this continues to move forward. Obviously, we're not going to see any significant movement when the Senate and the White House are Republican controlled, but hopefully we can build a big enough movement around this that come 2020, it's got to be front and center. And Ocasio-Cortez isn't going to do that by herself. Neither is any other elected official. That's going to take the Sunrise Movement, the Yellow Vest. It's going to take Extinction Rebellion. It's going to take all those movements. It's going to take climate action. It's going to take task force locally. I keep saying that, and I know I say this stuff a lot, and I know some of you might be like, Ron, we get it, but it's essential. Like, it's what we need. Like, it's not, things aren't going to change otherwise. So I am encouraged by this. I hope you are as well. But we still have a long way to go. But at least we're moving forward. And, of course, we'll keep an eye on a Green New Deal because it's essential to the survival of our planet. All right.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your